Audi thought they were entering Formula One with a master plan, equipped with cutting-edge technology, years of electrification expertise from their dominance in the World Endurance Championship, and a vision perfectly aligned with F1's bold, green future. They had the boardroom confidence, the engineering muscle, and the backing of one of the most powerful automotive groups on the planet. On paper, it looked flawless. Show up in 2026, embrace the FIA's ambitious hybrid era, and shake up the grid with signature German precision. But what was meant to be a strategic and seamless debut has quickly spiraled into a crisis. Instead of executing a smooth takeover, Audi now finds itself stumbling through a political minefield, technical uncertainty, and looming financial headwinds. The dream has devolved into damage control, and Audi's panic is just the tip of the iceberg. Formula One itself is staring down the barrel of a full-blown technical nightmare. With less than 8 months to go before the radically redesigned 2026 power units are supposed to roar to life in testing, serious doubts are spreading fast. The hybrid revolution that once promised innovation and sustainability is now threatening to stall before it even begins. At the center of the storm lies a power unit formula that may have aimed too high and is now dangerously close to falling flat. This isn't some late-night paddock paranoia. These concerns were first raised all the way back in 2023 by Red Bull's Christian Horner, who bluntly warned that F1's shiny new battery systems might not survive a full lap on high-speed tracks like Spa or Monza. His words: the internal combustion engine might have to step in just to charge the thing. That's not exactly the image of future-forward performance F1 wants to sell. Now, imagine top drivers lifting and coasting through Monza, not to save tyres or fuel, but to keep the car alive. That's the surreal scenario some engineers are now whispering about behind garage doors. And it all stems from the push to shift from today's 80-20 combustion to electric power split to a radical 50-50 hybrid formula, allegedly pushed hard by Audi and Mercedes. Even Honda, normally quiet, has echoed the same sentiment. The future is electric, even if the present isn't ready. But with panic setting in and time running out, the big question is, will Formula One dare hit the brakes on its own future? Behind closed doors in Saudi Arabia, the gloves quietly came off. With the 2026 engine regulations on the verge of a credibility crisis, Audi walked into the latest technical meeting armed with a fresh idea, and a controversial one at that. Their pitch: allow electric energy harvesting from the front axle, a game changer for performance, a lightning rod for debate. Now here's the twist. Audi already has a PhD in front axle regeneration from their WEC dominance, which is exactly why the FIA's engine working group previously shot the idea down, fearful it would give the German newcomer an unfair head start. But with time ticking and the new engines under fire, the idea is back on the table. Currently, F1's future cars can only harvest from the rear wheels under braking, which taps into a meager 22% of available energy. Adding the front axle would flip the script, massively boosting electrical recovery in one swoop. And former F1 tech boss Gary Anderson is all for it. His solution? Make the tech standard across the grid, just like McLaren's Control ECUs. Level the playing field without sacrificing performance or tech credibility. But here's the kicker. Another proposed fix is already brewing. Keep the current V6 turbo hybrid layout intact, but neuter the electric side. Drop it from 350 kilowatts to just 200 kilowatts, effectively killing off 200 brake horsepower of futuristic firepower. It's a desperate attempt to keep F1 from becoming an embarrassing fuel-saving parade. Formula One's engine conundrum just took another sharp turn. Behind the scenes, a quiet compromise is emerging. Allow full electric deployment during qualifying, where batteries can be recharged between runs in the garage, but restrict it during the race. It's a band-aid fix on a much bigger wound. For a fleeting moment, there was even a nostalgic whisper in the paddock. What if F1 ditched the hybrids altogether and brought back the raw, howling simplicity of a V10 engine, just with a dash of kinetic energy recovery system and some sustainable fuel? After all, the net zero goal could still be achieved with 100% renewable fuel, without dragging the grid through the technical and financial quicksand that these power units are fast becoming. But the Audi proposal to supply a standardized front axle energy harvesting system has another problem: weight. The very system that could solve the electric regeneration crisis would also bulk up the cars, at a time when the FIA is desperately trying to slim them down by 30 kilograms for 2026. It's the ultimate contradiction. So now, the sport seems destined for a compromise few really wanted, cutting the electric power output from 350 kilowatts to 200 kilowatts in the race, a significant drop of around 200 horsepower. The idea is to maintain current development paths without forcing a last-minute redesign, but it's a solution born more from panic than planning. And here's the real kicker. Cadillac has just been approved by the FIA as an official engine manufacturer from 2029. The American giant isn't about to sink hundreds of millions into building a V6 hybrid that might only last 2 seasons. That alone sends a chilling message. This next generation of F1 power units might already be on borrowed time. Whispers are turning into serious conversations. The mighty V8s, V10s, or even V12s might not just return, they could be back sooner than anyone expected. The much-hyped hybrid era, once sold as the pinnacle of technological innovation, is now facing a ticking clock. The signs are everywhere. Take General Motors. The American giant initially promised a full US-built F1 power unit by 2028, but now that target looks more like a strategic delay, because no matter which patch the FIA slaps onto its current hybrid headache, whether reduced electric output, standardized components, or front axle regeneration, the uncomfortable truth remains. These ultra-complex power units are on their way to an early grave. Add to that a looming economic storm brewing across the Atlantic, with Trump-era tariffs threatening to spike import costs. Key components for American industry are about to get a lot more expensive. The knock-on effect: higher prices, inflation, and a drag on business momentum. Already, major US corporations are scaling back, and the tremors will hit F1 hard. Why? Because Formula One is now deeply embedded in American soil. From Vegas to Miami, from Netflix deals to billionaire team owners, US money fuels this sport. But in a climate of economic uncertainty, companies won't be so eager to burn millions on race car marketing. When recession fears rise, ad budgets are the first to fall. So with Cadillac's late entry engine plan and hybrid tech under fire, one can't help but ask, are we witnessing the final lap of F1's hybrid experiment? And if so, will the symphony of screaming V10s once again echo through the paddock? What started as a geopolitical footnote is now casting a long, unsettling shadow across the F1 paddock. Ferrari and Mercedes, two of the sport's biggest powerhouses, have openly admitted that the Trump-enforced tariffs on imports are beginning to rattle their supply chains. And if you think this is just another layer of politics, think again. You can clearly see a negative mood among some of our partners in the US. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff revealed in Jeddah, his usual stoicism giving way to real concern. With his background in finance, Wolff didn't mince words, calling the current economic uncertainty in Washington a socio-economic experiment. Then, in a moment of dry irony, he quipped, "It's quite entertaining to watch CNN and then Fox News and try to figure out what's really going on. I'm not even supposed to say that." But behind the humor lies a real fear. Formula One, for all its glitz and global appeal, is intricately tied to international supply chains. From carbon fiber chassis components to ultra-sensitive electronics, critical parts are shipped from all corners of the globe. With rising tariffs, the cost of moving these high-value materials across borders is climbing fast, and that could start to squeeze the sport in places it can't afford. Do you think Formula One should stick with its complex hybrid future, or is it time to bring back the raw power of V10s and simpler tech before the sport loses its identity? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.